What's going on, everyone? Draymond Green. He is clearly going through it with the Golden State Warriors, and there's a lot of questions on his future with the team. Now, Bob Myers have came out and said, like, hey, it won't affect the contract negotiations, stuff like that. But nonetheless, the Warriors are going to have to start making decisions. And Draymond Green doing what he did, very likely over time, it's very likely going to get swept under the rug. People aren't really going to remember it, especially if the Warriors are winning, things like that. Now, I don't think what he did at all was acceptable. I think that there should be some sort of severe punishment. A part of me feels like it's not going to happen, that nothing's going to happen. Draymond is stepping away from the team, and very likely that that'll be that, right? And he'll be gone for like 2 weeks or whatever. This will blow over, and then he'll come back, and all will be right in the world, and the Warriors will start winning again, and, bygones are bygones, right? But the Warriors are going to remember that, and the Warriors are going to have to start making decisions. And one of the things that has been going around is Draymond Green to the Lakers. There have been lots of talks about it. We even talked about it here briefly on this channel. Just throwing out the idea of, like, what if, he was to come after Stephen A. Smith said, opt out, go to Lakers, sign a 1+1, stuff like that. There have been other reports, other people that have said, Draymond Green may be trying to leverage himself to the Lakers if he was to leave the Warriors, that he's not opposed or against playing with LeBron James, stuff like that. But nonetheless, I saw this trade and I was like, hey, this is pretty interesting. And I wanted to break it down and, of course, have a discussion and hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. So obviously, right off the bat, Draymond Green to the Lakers. Then it's also Myles Turner going to Golden State, and the Indiana Pacers take on Russell Westbrook plus a first. Now, I actually think that this is a pretty fair trade. All of this kind of doesn't work out exactly. So there's probably more pieces and more elements. If I had to guess, I would say also beyond Draymond Green, very likely you'd probably get a Buddy Hield also. The Pacers are very likely going to want to move off of Buddy Hield also in that long-term contract, not just basically trade Myles Turner for a first. And the Pacers want both first, stuff like that. But maybe you could kind of work it out and have that get involved. And it's like, hey, we're taking on Buddy Hield, we're taking the contract. So instead of getting Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, you get Buddy Hield and Draymond Green. And so first off, right off the bat, Draymond Green to the Lakers, and let's include Buddy Hield in this conversation because I do think it's important. And I do think that very likely if a trade like this was to happen, Buddy Hield would very likely be included. So Draymond Green right off the bat, I actually think Draymond Green would be much more valuable than Myles Turner. You're not getting the shot blocking, but you're getting the versatility and the defense. You're not getting the floor spacing that you get from Myles Turner, but you're also getting a little more durability and just, somebody that can be used more as a tool over Myles Turner. Well, Myles Turner, you kind of know what you're getting. You're getting a guy that is going to give you 12 points, 7 rebounds, and block, 2-3 shots a game. That's Myles Turner in a nutshell. But he's extremely injury prone. He wants $20+ million a year. Not that Draymond wants, $5 million a year or something like that. He wants some money too. But I just think you get more flexibility, more versatility with Draymond. You get that experience. You get that championship pedigree. LeBron, Draymond, and Anthony Davis would be a really good front court. You got Draymond who can, switch, guard wings, guard, he could guard the best player. You're playing the Clippers. He could guard a Kawhi Leonard and make it difficult and just get in his head. Not just that, imagine him with Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder and stuff like that. Like, you could have a starting five of Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverley, LeBron James, Draymond Green, and Anthony Davis. That's an insane lineup. Like, you're probably getting like 4 or 5 technicals a game, but it would be so fun to watch. I don't know if that team would be very good. That's my biggest concern is how much would Draymond fit? How would he fit enough to where it elevates us to that point? But I mean, look at the impact he has with the Warriors. So maybe he'd have that same impact. Not just that, but he's a guy that you could run your offense through. LeBron wants to play some more off the ball, stuff like that. So you could actually have Draymond run and, run your offense entirely if you need him to, like he does with the Warriors. It just gives you, again, he's more of a versatile, Swiss Army knife type player. He brings that grind and grit. As much as that can be a negative, it's still a very real positive as well. And it's something that I really think would be interesting. Again, I don't know how good the Lakers would be in that regard, because Draymond can't really shoot, and where at least Myles Turner, you're getting floor spacing, but you're getting Buddy Hield still. And I think I think the pros, if you weigh the pros and the cons between Myles Turner and Draymond, I think you'd rather have Draymond, just because, again, you get that sort of wing defense. He, every once in a while, can knock down a three, something like that. But more so, you're getting a guy that is, a triple single, as people like to call him. But his impact, what he brings to the game, his intensity, stuff like that, is very valuable. That's what I've talked about with Patrick Beverley. And I've compared Patrick Beverley to, a Draymond Green, a Dennis Rodman. Like, a lot of these championship teams, they need those kind of players on the team to help elevate just everyone around. And Draymond would be that guy, that passion, that energy. Plus, if you get Buddy Hield, you got that lights out shooting. I just think that might be a better package than just a Myles Turner and Buddy Hield straight up. Personally, I prefer that over. I think if you're going to take the risk, I think Draymond is a better risk than a Myles Turner. You're probably paying both the same anyway. So regardless, I think Draymond Green, he's still young enough to where you could have him around for a couple years. The big concern, though, more than anything, is Anthony Davis would have to play the 5 at that point. Just because, Draymond, he's best suited at the 4 spot, right? So he's got to play the 4. Davis has got to play the 5. LeBron could play, either point guard, or he could play, small forward, or he could play anywhere he want, really. But nonetheless, like, Davis would have to go and be the 5 full time, which is a concern, right? The whole reason you got Thomas Bryant and Damian Jones is so Anthony Davis doesn't have to play the 5 a bunch. Although you could kind of, you'd have some real versatility, because you still have Winning Gabriel, you'd still have Damian Jones, you'd still have Thomas Bryant, and now you don't have that log jam, because you basically have Damian Jones and Thomas Bryant backing up AD, and then you have, Winning Gabriel and Thomas Bryant and Anthony Davis backing up Draymond. So I think it could work. But moving on to the Golden State Warriors. I mean, Myles Turner would be huge for them, right? Because he could play the 4 and he could play the 5. So you could square him up next to Wiseman, and finally the Warriors would have a big lineup, right? Or you could have Wiseman come off the bench, kind of work him into the system. Don't just throw him into the fire. I think Myles Turner is perfect for the Warriors, because, one, if he continues to be injury prone, the Warriors are still good enough to weather that storm. 2, the Warriors finally get that, like, elite shot blocker, big man down low that they really never had. They had guys like Andrew Bogut and stuff like that was really good defensively, could block some shots, but not to the level of Myles Turner. And the flexibility, the type of play sets you could run with Myles Turner on the Warriors team, I think that would really take him up a notch. The big question is, does he supplement everything that Draymond brings? Because, again, you get so much versatility with Draymond, and you get the durability as well, again. But Myles Turner, if he can stay healthy, which, again, is a big risk, but if he can stay healthy, he's a guy that provides everything that the Warriors need. Like, he becomes the ultimate hole filled immediately. There you go. Like, here's your center. And I just think Myles Turner's game could be taken up a notch just being around those guys. My main point is the Warriors could risk a Myles Turner deal more than the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers' margin for just risk and error is as high as the Warriors, where if Myles Turner misses substantial time, I think you got enough guys that can fill in the gaps. You're deep enough, you're young enough, you still have Wiseman, you still have guys like that. Where the Lakers, if Myles Turner goes down, you still have Anthony Davis, you still have Thomas Bryant, you still have that, but you also have Anthony Davis that's injury prone. So, and usually when Anthony Davis isn't in the games, we struggle and it's not good and it doesn't look good. Where the Warriors, if Myles Turner goes down, they've never really had a center like that. So they're just back to business as usual. Where I don't think that if worst case scenario happens, I think the Warriors would be fine. where I think the Lakers, they could be in some real trouble. And then the Warriors could kind of, test it out for a year and see. I do think the Warriors would want a first or want some assets, because that's the thing in this deal. There is no picks attached to this. So I think very likely you're probably sending the other pick to the Warriors, where so basically the Warriors would get Myles Turner and a first. Although I feel like you can justify it, and I understand why they left off the pick, is because you're getting a young, shot blocking center that fits in perfectly. And he can play power forward, so you got that flexibility, so you can play him next to, the centers or the guys that you run the center now at power forward. You get that, flexibility. So you're getting younger, cheaper. He's not going to cost as much as Draymond. He wants 20 plus million, but you could probably get away with giving him 20 million, which is a lot cheaper than a maxing out Draymond Green. Probably keep Andrew Wiggins. And I mean, just imagine Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Myles Turner and James Wiseman. Like, that's a really good team. Or you could go Jordan Poole, because now you have that shot blocking center down low, and Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson. Although I think Klay Thompson's, just with the injuries and stuff, has kind of missed a little bit of a step. But nonetheless, I think you'd have enough defense to put around those guys. So you could have Jordan Poole. You could play Wiggins at the 4, Turner at the 5, be a Poole at the 3, Klay at the 2, Steph at the 1. I mean, good luck. I think that team is terrifying. But the last piece would be the Indiana Pacers, which this is just the Indiana Pacers deal, right? They take on Russell Westbrook. They get a first-round pick. They give up Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. Right? So basically all you're doing is just you're just basically swapping Draymond Green with Myles Turner. That's all that's essentially happening here. Indiana Pacers, they really want to do a deal. They really want to make a trade happen. So you could probably work that out. But nonetheless, I just think, there's not really too much to dive into. And you would probably need the Indiana Pacers in a deal like this, because I don't see the Warriors taking on Russ. Although, one, you can make an argument, they could just buy him out, and then that kind of solves, some of those issues that you have. But you'd also have to give up other stuff, right, beyond Draymond, just because of how much Russell Westbrook works if you were to do a straight-up trade, and I don't think the Warriors would want to do that. So you very likely have to find a third team, and if you find a third team, then they're going to want assets, and I just think the Indiana Pacers would be the easiest and best inherent deal, where, like, everybody kind of wins. That's what I kind of feel about this trade. Like, everybody would kind of win. Pacers get what they want. Warriors move off Draymond, but they get younger and they get a real center that can really help them now. Or you can play him if Wiseman turns out to be a stud. You can play Myles Turner. So now you go big, and you got Myles Turner, you got Buddy Hield, Myles Turner and James Wiseman, and then you got Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Like, now you got the size, you got the shooting. I mean, you're essentially again a dynasty continued is what you are. But also, like, do you try the Russ experiment out for a little bit? Right? I mean, you're not going to start Russ, but do you, like, bring him off the bench and say, hey, I wonder if this could work? Like, because it would just add a completely different element and a completely different level to the Warriors. Assuming, again, I think a third team like Indiana has to happen. But if you're the Warriors and you wanted to do a straight-up deal and you want to work it out, if you're the Warriors, aren't you a little curious? Like, I wonder what Steve Kerr could do with this. And especially if you have him come off the bench, like, hey, you're gonna come off the bench, you're gonna be the sixth man, you're gonna be the first guard off the bench, and then you could just put him, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry around him, and just kind of let him run the show and just go, wow. You would add a completely different level to the Warriors that the Warriors have never had. I think it would at least be worth a try. I'm not saying it would work. I'm not saying it would, but if it does, I mean, come on, that could be a lot of fun for the Warriors. I think I would at least want them to try it 10 games or 20 games and just see, see if it works. But nonetheless, all in all, again, I think this would be a very fair trade. I think everybody would kind of win. You get Buddy Hield and Draymond Green going to the Lakers. Westbrook, just the Indiana Pacers deal. You're just basically swapping Myles Turner for Draymond Green. And then there you go. Everyone's happy. Everyone wins. Also, if you did this deal, the Warriors would save a little money too, or I should say a lot of money because they're just so heavy into the tax. They'd save a little money because Draymond makes like $8 million more or something like that than Myles Turner. But all in all, I do think this is actually a pretty real fair trade. I really do. I think that this could work for everybody. My biggest question for the Lakers standpoint would just be fit. Because, I mean, look, Russ, we already know what's going to happen with Russ if he goes to Indiana. They're just going to buy him out, and he's going to go elsewhere. Myles Turner, I think, would be a seamless fit for the Warriors. So I don't think there's any concern for the Pacers and the Warriors. I think the concern would be the Lakers. And it's like, which one do you value more? Do you value Draymond or Myles Turner? I think you go Draymond just because if it works and you can make it work, the flexibility and just all of the things that you'd get from Draymond, I think would be more valuable than Myles Turner. Like Myles Turner is kind of just, cut and dry. This is what you're going to get. And but you also have injury risk, injury history. It's a big concern. The kind of money he wants, not really worth it. Draymond isn't really worth, 20 plus million anymore either, in my opinion. But, if you had to pay one of them, I think you'd better off pay Draymond Green. Although Myles Turner is, several years younger. I think Draymond Green, he's still young enough. He's 32, 33. So he's not like ancient. He's not 36, 37. So he's got one more contract in him. And you'd get more flexibility, more versatility. It's just the concern, like I said, is just would it work? Like would he fit or would it be trouble? And is Anthony Davis going to be able to hold up? At the 5 spot. Although you could have a pretty nice, small ball lineup if you wanted. You could have Draymond and LeBron play the 4 and 5 in a small ball lineup, and then just put like your 3 best shooters around them, and that could be a pretty interesting. Have like Buddy Hield, Kendrick Nunn, and maybe like Patrick Beverly or JTA or somebody like that. Could be a lot of fun. Could be an interesting team, especially if it works. But again, however you feel, as always, this is a discussion. I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this trade. Do you like it? Do you hate it? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. Go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.